Hello, and welcome to this week's edition of Virtually Sunday, a ministry of Whatsoever You Do Incorporated. I'm the Reverend Bridget Flad Daniels, the senior pastor of Union Congregational United Church of Christ in downtown Green Bay, Wisconsin. This week's gospel starts in that quiet, wrenching moment when Joseph realizes that the life that he imagined is no longer available to him. The gospel tells us that Joseph is a righteous man, which means he knows exactly how this story is supposed to go. Get engaged, get married, settle down, have a few kids. Mary's pregnancy doesn't fit into that timeline, and the manner of her conception doesn't match what righteousness decrees. So Joseph decides to step away quietly, not out of cruelty, but out of self-protection. Out of the deep human instinct to preserve what still makes sense. And then, into that fear, God speaks. Do not be afraid, the angel says. Do not be afraid to stay. Do not be afraid to make room. Do not be afraid to let something be born that will change everything that you thought you knew. Have you ever heard a reflection that completely reshapes how you understand something? Earlier this morning, I read a piece written by an artist and author, Scott Erickson, that asks a question that I can't shake. Erickson asks, with all of Joseph's family in Bethlehem for the census, are we really supposed to believe that not one cousin, not one aunt or uncle had a spare bed? Now, I've always read the no room at the inn portion of this story as mere overcrowding. Overcrowding that because so many people were flooding into Bethlehem that all of the Airbnbs were full up. Kind of like last year's NFL draft on steroids. But Erickson's question, when paired with our gospel lesson, in which Joseph is described as a righteous man who planned to divorce Mary quietly when he learned that she was pregnant, puts a whole new spin on this passage this Advent. When Joseph decides to listen to the angel's message rather than follow the societal expectations, he's taking a stand for Mary, for integrity, for grace. But it never occurred to me before that he was also risking his place among his family of origin, among his people. This angle on the story tells us that the incarnation begins not just with holy wonder, but also with quiet rejection. And if we're honest, many of us know that feeling. Some of us have made choices in pursuit of wholeness that there's no turning back from. Some of us have come to understand something true about our identity that makes the people that we love uncomfortable or distant. Some of us have transformed so much that we no longer speak the same language we once did. And suddenly, at the table that we used to fit so easily at, there's less room. This is the part of the Christmas story that we don't put on the Christmas cards. The incarnation doesn't please everyone. Jesus enters the world as a disruption of family expectations, of societal norms, of religious certainty. Even before he can speak, Jesus' existence asks hard questions. And yet, God doesn't wait for universal approval. God doesn't wait for everything to be tidy. God enters anyway. To Joseph's credit, and this is no small thing, he listens. He changes course. He makes room when it would have been easier not to. Which reminds us that holiness often looks like rearranging our life around a truth that you didn't choose. And maybe that's the good news that some of us need this season. Because your incarnation, the truest version of who you are becoming, may not be welcomed everywhere. It may be born in a place that feels small or overlooked or improvised. It may cost you an invitation that you once assumed you'd always have. It may not go it may not go the way that you expect, but it will not go unnoticed by heaven. Angels have a way of singing over the things that the world tries to ignore. Strangers have a way of showing up when family doesn't. Wisdom has a way of recognizing holiness long before it's explained. The giver of your incarnation will provide room for you too. Not always the room that you imagined, not always the room that pleases everyone, but enough room for life, enough room for love, enough room for joy and hope to take flesh. This is what Joseph learns. This is what Advent insists on. God makes room where there was none, and then invites us to do the same. And so my Advent and Christmas prayer for all of us, may you trust the truth being born in you. May you bless the room that holds it. And may you know that when you choose grace, there will always be room for you too, even if it isn't the room that you expected. Blessed Christmas, friends. Alleluia and amen.